Could I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do I hear any public comment today? No public comment. Okay. Our engineer is a little bit late, so we will move on to, is Kelsey on there? Yes, Kelsey's on there. We'll move on to you, Kelsey, if you have any information. Oops. Hello.
Hey, how's it going? John Huff.
Hi, John.
Kelsey was trying to join online. I don't know if she's been able to make it yet, but I have the updates for you. So,
Okay, go ahead.
so all the county B roads that we're utilizing are now stabilized. Once a couple of the turn radii are completed, then all the infrastructure for the job will be ready to go because our turbine access roads are now nearing 100% completion. With the rock finishing up on those. Excavation remains on schedule. Foundation work in Page County likely will start about a week from now. And we have crane components. They'll be arriving soon and will be assembled soon with erection likely to begin in about 2 weeks here in Page County. So those are the main updates that I have for you. Is there anything that you would like me to, if Kelsey has not been able to join you, is there anything you'd like me to take back to the office and ask about?
Anybody have any questions? Have we gotten any questions or
I
anything?
have not received any questions from people, so seems like it's calmed down a little bit.
Good.
Okay. I haven't heard anything from anybody. So that's good, John.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
for coming.
Appreciate that. Okay. I think we'll move on to the sheriff's office with the opioid presentation.
Good afternoon. I'm Sheriff Charles McCullough here at Page County.
You want to pull that up a little bit so you can maybe
Gotcha. A little bit better?
better.
Gotcha. I'm Charles McCullough, the sheriff here at Page County. We have two presentations we'd like to present tonight for possible use of opioid money. And Mr. Riddle, my chief deputy, has got both of these presentations. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask. Okay.
Hello, like Sheriff McCullough said, I'm Aaron Riddle, Chief Deputy at the Sheriff's Office. The two proposals that we have would be one for a K-9 unit. The opioid money that is available can help fund that, and we are requesting the funding for the K-9 unit to help serve the citizens of Page County. We haven't had a K-9 unit since 2020, but it's a priority of the office that we get one back up and running. They can be used in a drug interdiction, which really helps the people as we interdict those drug crimes. We also have property crimes go down, which I think everybody appreciates, having fewer burglaries and fewer thefts, and it can be a great tool for everyone. Now, with different K-9 units, there's, depending on where you purchase it from, the prices on a K-9 itself can vary. Usually they put the cost of the dog along with the cost of training. And as you can see from the paperwork that I gave you, it looks like you're in the ballpark of $8,000 to $12,000, $13,000 in order to just purchase a dog and get a deputy trained up to handle that dog so that it can be used to its fullest extent there, which is a lot of money, obviously. We're figuring that with all of those training and getting hotels and stuff, you could be up in the $14,000 to $21,000, depending on how long the training is and how adept the deputy is at taking on the task of learning how to read the dog, which is the skill part of it. Is we don't have anybody with any K-9 handling experience currently on the department, so we are taking somebody from green as grass to try to get them to know how to handle this dog, um, and read what the dog's telling them, which obviously would be able to search for drugs, which is exactly what we're looking for. There is also the ability to put dual purpose, so the dog would be able to bite, and that's when you get up in the higher ends of the training budget. In order to get the dog to be able to bite when commanded, release when commanded, would be the higher ends of like the up in that $21,000 area. But that would be trained and out on the road. Now we'd also need to be able to upfit a vehicle, and I don't believe the money is able to be used for that type of work, but the sheriff's office is committed to taking that money from our own budget and making that happen if we were able to purchase the K9 at training. The benefits, it's a much needed tool that's been available for multiple years, and the surrounding counties are all running at least one K9 unit, some two, some are looking to add a second. Drugs are not a problem that are going away, unfortunately. On a positive note, sometimes you can get drug seizures. We'll have cash along with those, and that can actually help benefit the program staying around. We can seize that money and use it within the program as well. And we can use it as a resource with schools. Everybody loves an animal. You can take a dog to the schools, and along with searching, it can really help build community relations and hopefully keep kids from ever starting using drugs.
Do they allow them in schools now?
I have not had any formal conversations with any of the school superintendents, but I do believe that they are generally very pro. Anytime you guys want to work with us, they're willing to work.
Okay.
Well, we have not formalized anything at this point. We can have, I think that pretty well covers it for that. Do you have any questions? There's, a little bit more information in there, but if you have any questions.
I know it used to be that they didn't want them in the schools, but I didn't know whether they were more lenient now.
The schools, I believe, are probably going to be a little more lenient and want us to be in and out of their school systems, just strictly working back and forth with us. My intentions are not to have a bite dog. It's just going to be a single purpose, a dog that searches for narcotics and maybe add tracking onto him at that point. But I do not at this point want to have a bite dog with a new handler.
Yeah.
With a single purpose does cover tracking, drugs, and evidence collection, which is the dogs can search an area and find evidence, which is amazing to see.
Yeah.
Can you, at this point, can you share other counties? Are they willing to come across counties if
Yes.
you need?
We have 2080 agreements with Fremont County.
Okay.
Montgomery County, Mills County has come down to us. Does Adams County have a dog still? I believe so. I believe they still have
Okay.
one. Most everybody will come to us. State Patrol will bring their dogs down and help and stuff like
But
that.
it would be nice to have our own.
It would be nice to have our own so we can use them a little bit more.
Okay.
We have, there are time restrictions when doing searches for drugs with dogs. They almost have to be on scene to be right away in order to be utilized. So if a K9 unit is 25 minutes away on a traffic stop, it's too far.
Right.
It needs to be there.
Yeah. And you have looked through the opioid, it's hard to say, the opioid restrictions, and it can be used to
Yes.
purchase the dog.
Yes, we believe that the interpretation of it is that we can buy the dog with it, and some of the things for the dog, but like a vehicle or anything like that would not
But
be.
not.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Do you need a special vehicle, or do you have insert things or modifications you can make to current vehicle?
Right. So my intentions are, and I've ordered 2 new Dodge Durangos to be delivered after July 1st.
Okay.
One of them was going to be just a regular deputy vehicle with a standard cage in it. I've contacted Keltec out of Baxter, Iowa, and they are giving us an estimate of putting a dog cage in for half of that vehicle, and then the other half would be a transport for a prisoner. So it's a little more expensive, but not completely out of line. So
Would it pay for, could you put a cage in it? Would that pay for it or that's not?
that I don't know. I think we're gonna have to do some looking and find
Okay.
out
Okay,
because the cage is about another four to $5,000.
okay,
And yeah,
but we can check that out.
we can check
Okay.
that out. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay,
The second one is, you can direct your attention to the screen. We have a Page County Jail body scanner. Let me try to get the microphone to work here. We're going to talk about the need, how they work, the benefit for the county. I can address any concerns and then we'll conclude. Next slide, Corey. Thank you. By the way, thank you, Corey, for running that.
that's a big
The
thing.
need. So this is typically kind of what a body scanner looks like. Our jail, our current jail that we're using has obviously never had any technology like this before. We conduct manual searches of people as they come into the facility. Can you bring up that first? Okay. So according to the Iowa code, there's very limited strip searches available on people. So like somebody that we would suspect coming into the jail with contraband, if they're hiding it somewhere inside of them, say, it would be very difficult to, they can't, let me see how to word this. They would have to go into isolation for the most part. And if you were just suspecting that, not allow them to go out onto the floor. So it could be helpful for that. Yes, perfect. Thank you, Corey. The searches are a skill. Just like anything, it's not easy to do a good search on people. It requires attention to detail and practice. And it's sometimes we put a lot of people through the jail, and other times we are not putting a lot of people through the jail doors. And sometimes some of those search skills, you can get lazy. I'm guilty of it, just like anybody. And when we miss something, there can be dire consequences for people bringing in contraband like weapons and or drugs and things like that. If you go to the next one. Like I just said, security breaches do occur within the jail. We have multiple agencies that do their searches in the field. And that's always, you never know what you might have coming in just because somebody said that they searched them. You don't necessarily know that they did a good job of doing the search. So there's kind of two different technologies that are available right now. One is X-ray technology. You get your results in about 3 seconds. And the other one is millimeter wave imaging. And the results are in 2 seconds. Both of these offer a type of software that detects contraband. Now, if you're looking at that picture on the left, you guys have that up on your screens.
Mm-hmm.
The picture on the left, you can't really tell what's going on in there, but those are all the same picture. The latest technology is the stuff on the right where things are highlighted in red or blue or green, and like it uses AI technology to detect things that don't match normal human anatomy and directs people to, hey, you need to look here more closely. So that can really help take a new person off the street to be able to do basically no skill required. Can you tell that something's blue there? Look for the item. Did you have a question, Todd? No. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. All right. So increased security. The more drugs and weapons and things like that we keep out of the facility, the better off we are. I mean, that's point blank, no easier way to say that. And that goes for our inmates as well as staff and the subjects that we bring in and out. It does increase efficiency. 3 seconds is a very quick search to say, hey, this person has nothing, moving on, get to the next thing. Training costs, there's very little training to it. I mean, it's very quick and easy, very rapid.
So it doesn't take somebody technical.
I asked the guys, so I had the opportunity to go with the sheriff to Pottawatomie County. We took a look at their scanner and how they used it and spoke with their staff up there. They are in the process currently of purchasing a new one, and their old one is 8 years old, which is, I immediately thought, well, what are you doing with that one? And they basically, that company no longer exists, which is never good. And there's no support for it at just 8 years old, which is not great. But he said that when they first got this in, they would take them 5-10 minutes of staring at the images, and they do not have the AI technology on their current one, but they're going to one that has the AI that will highlight the things that don't match human anatomy. So he said they would take a long time studying it when they first started, but once they developed an experienced eye, it would take seconds. So I can look at a scan and immediately just know, all right, that doesn't belong and that doesn't belong. The fewer things that are contraband that come into the jail, the better off we are for staff, reducing risks for everyone, staff and inmates. As we all know, there is a market within jails and prison systems for illegal goods. We do have people that come and serve time on the weekends. They do end up in general population. I don't know for sure what that will look like in the new facility, but I think we can reasonably assume that we don't have enough space to keep everybody completely separated from each other all the time. So there's probably a chance of overlap there. Are there more on there? Hopefully that would act as a deterrent for inmates as well. If you know that you're going to be scanned as you come in, you don't bother trying. That would be a good goal. All right. As far as the privacy concerns, the images are stored in house. So if later you find that you missed something, you can go back and review an image, but they are not uploaded anywhere or stored offline or online anywhere. All right, the X-ray scanners expose people to low doses of radiation. And one scan, all right, to equal one chest X-ray, you would have to do 1,000 to 2,000 passes through the scanner. Now, the one that they use in Pottawatomie County keeps track of that for them. So when a person goes through, they actually enter their name and date of birth and that kind of stuff, and they can track how much exposure an inmate has had coming and going through their facility, and they scan people in and out a lot of the time. And they said that the machine will give them a warning, hey, this person has had too much, you can't give them any more. And they've never had that. And I can assure you they have people that go in and out of there a lot of times. Yeah. The millimeter scanners emit non-ionizing radiation that should not cause cellular damage. That's directly from their technology statement. I don't really love that it says should not. But all right. We can use this body scanner to assist staff in conducting safer and more effective searches of people entering and leaving our facility. Protect inmates and staff that are in our care from contraband items that might otherwise be introduced into the jail. We can save money on medical emergencies. I know that we have had people overdose within the facility. So that's not, if we can avoid that, that's better. And hopefully protecting the county from liability of overdose type situations or assaults with weapons that came from the outside in. And that's all. Any questions on that?
What kind of price tag are you looking at?
$250,000 is the ballpark. It is a steep price tag.
Oh,
Is there anything down from that?
Yeah. That is kind of
That's the premium.
That's all the bells and whistles with like a 5-year maintenance plan and services provided as far as breakdowns and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. It is an interesting. We're dealing with a foreign technology that we've never had before, and to know the right route, like how much protection do you need from things going bad, I couldn't give you a good answer to that. You know, an extended warranty and a service plan where they come down and check on it. That's included in that $250,000, but I don't know if you could get by without it, and I don't know who you would ask.
Is there a lesser one?
Yeah, it would come down. You could be in like the 200s instead of 250. It's still an extreme price.
That's not a lot.
Yes, it is a lesser one. It is not not of a huge difference.
Is there any-
Yeah.
It's still an astronomical.
Or if there's any grants or anything you guys can apply for to get something like that or not?
We can start looking for grants for something like that.
I just wonder if there was anything, if there's any place that offers grants towards that, or if that would be covered under something that.
I don't know that there's anything specific that would do it. I'm sure that we can ask, we can always apply for grants. I don't know if there's anything that's specifically for that.
When we went up and visited Potawatomi County, they didn't mention any grants or anything like that. They were just buying theirs out of their own budget and doing it that way. In the last 5 years, we've had one person be in our jail and pass away. It happens. The reason Potawatomi County has one, they had a deputy named Mark Burbridge that was killed up there because an inmate had stuck a shank up in his hair and Mark paid the price.
Right.
So,
Right.
Is this in addition to the dog, or is this either or what's the presentation all about?
we gave you two presentations. Obviously the dog we would like to take in. That's on my list of things I would like to get back going in as the dog. We could use it in the jail, on the road, other facilities, anything like that. The body scanner is up till probably a month and a half ago, never really thought about it, but I guess whatever you guys would want to do. So
Can the dog stand at the door and search people when it comes up?
yeah, the dog can do that.
We could do that.
We can do that.
The body scanner is not something that is like, we got to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
We don't have anywhere to put it right now anyway.
Absolutely, we wouldn't have a place to put it, and the new jail is going to be a little tighter in some areas, and the footprint is maybe, okay, where do we put that in there? So there is a lot of logistics that we would have to sort out. I'm not saying, hey, let's do this right today, but this is something to keep
It's an
in
idea.
mind.
It's definitely good to think about.
It's something to
Right.
keep in mind,
Keep your ears open in case you see something,
grants and whatnot that might come
Mhm.
available.
or departments that are downsizing, or maybe, they got one out there for sale.
Right.
They're upgrading.
And speaking of Potawatomi County, we asked them, hey, what are you gonna do with your old one? Their intent or their thing was totally buying it. It's 8 years old, the technology is old, everything is, expired on it. So if you're gonna do it, so
Get a new one
exactly.
if it's 8 years old. Yeah.
Exactly.
Old
So
technology.
we're just kind of pitching ideas to you guys, and whatever you guys want to do, then we can direct ourselves into that. I will say that personally, I would like to put a dog on here shortly. So
How many years has it been since we had a dog?
I believe 2000. Yeah, 2000 was the last time we had Lucas.
2000.
2020.
I was gonna say, it's been since then.
Yeah,
'Cause-
2020.
yeah, it's just been a few years since,
Yes.
since he
Clarendon,
left.
Clarendon no longer has a dog. Shenandoah has 2 dogs now.
Yeah.
I believe one of their trainers is still in training with their dog. Fremont County has 2 dogs, but just lost a handler. So they actually have a dog that has no handler.
Do you know if there's I've heard of dogs not passing out of the training, like something is wrong,
Some fail out.
something wrong, some fail or something like that. So is there any guarantees, like when you put the money in towards a dog, that it comes out trained
Yes.
and passes, and then if it fails, you're still covered, you're not gonna have to buy another dog?
Yes. So when you purchase a dog, the dog will have passed everything, and then it has to be redone, recertified every year.
Okay.
So every year it keeps coming back and being checked out, stuff like that. The thing we've kind of narrowed down to like 2 people that we could possibly buy a dog from. One is in Georgia, and the other one is in Omaha. The one in Omaha, he says, if you have a problem, bring him back up.
Yeah.
We'll get him back to top notch and whatever you need. So
Do we have officers who are interested in?
yes, we have 2 officers that would be interested in dog.
Okay. And the last one we had, the dog went with.
Yes, when Sergeant Roop retired, We gave him
dog.
Lucas because Lucas was at his maximum
maximum.
age.
And how long do they, like 5 years?
Some will go 5, some will go 7. You get to 7 years, you're pushing your luck on it.
I've recently heard that some of it depends on how the dog rides in the car. If they lay down, you can get more years out of them. If they try to stand the whole time, it's harder on the joints. It takes some years off their life or their working life.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Well, very good presentation.
Thank
Now,
you.
if we just had a lot more money. Okay, thank you very much. Now, if you can just come down a little bit on the body scanner. I know. Thank you very much. Okay. JD. I get one. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
thank you.
JD King, Page County Engineer. It's a beautiful day in Page County. Blades are out. We're hauling ARPA rock still. Couple more is running. And the pipe crew was cleaning up because it was pretty wet yesterday. I expect that'd be, I was off today, most of the day. So they got a pipe job underway down on La Perla Avenue. Spray Badger was working up middle of the county. We had a cold patch crew out and we were anticipated doing some reshaping on 150th Street east of Essex between G and H. But I got some phone calls from the landowner who'd like to cut and bale the roadside, and we encourage that. So we're gonna wait, and then they're gonna get rid of some of the vegetation where we're gonna reshape that road. So we're gonna pause that a little bit. There was no pieces of equipment in the shop when I was there on Monday. Plus, there was a broke tractor out back. We're anticipating fuel pump replacements mid June. Be early June, but that's already passed. And number 41, the single axle that was tipped over in the wintertime is still up at Houseby in Des Moines, and another one of our tandems that was in a little incident in town here is in Omaha. Friday we have cabin chassis bids due. We'll open them at the auditor's office and present them next Tuesday here in front of the board. We're working on the bridge based on the weather conditions. Still have work on the west side, the open rail, and the approach and pavement sub is supposed to be in today working. So we're seeing the end of the concrete placement, and there'll be guardrail, a little bit of striping, and that bridge will be open to traffic. I still expect that somewhere mid-July. There's another bridge grant opportunity. Showed up last week. I got to respond to it tomorrow. And we're going to do some patching down on J64 west of Oak Avenue between the first, that sag where the pavement's bad, and we've been repairing it. We still have repairs to do there. And should We're taking soliciting a couple quotes, who should be in next week. Also next week, the weed commissioner has an IRVM, integrated roadside vegetation management plan put together. And the resolution goes with that, and we'll have that for you next week. Questions for me? Thank
I
you.
think so. Thanks, Judy. Oh, I have one question. Yes, I do have one question. On June 20th, you have a Board of Adjustment, public hearing at 10 o'clock.
Yes,
And that is, something next to Rat Park. Is that correct?
It's for
On
the rock, or for the sand
the
pit.
sand pit.
Right.
The sand pit expansion that's proposed is away from the Rat Park, further west.
Okay. Does somebody need to be there from here?
You got a letter.
Or you, but are you representing us? Or
I can if you want.
Okay, that's good.
I'm in support of it
Okay,
because we need.
It's on the west side of the road.
Correct.
Okay.
It's on the west side of the current mining area. Expansion part of it is
Oh, okay. So it's moving farther west.
correct.
Gotcha.
unless Todd wants to be there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Okay. All right, the next thing would be our board communication. Anyone have anything this week?
Anything? I got Board of Health next Monday.
Did you have landfill last week?
Had the landfill meeting. And we won't have one in July because it lands close to the 4th.
Okay,
Also, so just make sure that we are okay with because I think we took care of this, but I had a question asked about the Cowboy Church on the 22nd.
that was already approved.
We got that approved, right? and
Yeah.
Everything? Okay. Just want to
Yeah.
make sure they'd asked me.
Yeah, then we have Glenn Miller this next week, Thursday night.
Oh,
We have the concert. And then they had, postponed the,
car show.
car show from last Saturday to this Saturday. So we got a lot of stuff going this weekend.
Town will be packed.
Sounds like there might be rain again this weekend, so I don't know. But anyway, that's coming this weekend, so, okay. All right, discuss action meeting minutes from last week on the 3rd.
Look good to me.
Okay. Have a motion?
Make a motion that we approve the minutes from
So-
June
sec-
3rd.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion approved. Okay. All right, now we're down to the process for the Conservation Board. And we're going to have our selection process, and we're going to go alphabetically, and going to ask questions of the Conservation Board. I think what we're going to do alphabetically is move the Conservation Board applicants to another room and just do one at a time. And so, if we'll move you all into, Corey's room, Corey's office. We'll start with Marshall Brown. And we'll,
So, yeah,
Corey's office, yeah. Yeah, we'll just start that way. And the first, Marshall Brown, if we'll come up here and sit at the table.
Good.
Michelle, do you and Charlie want to bring chairs up this direction with us and you have questions? Not gonna be too hard on you guys, so. If you just want to come up here with us and however, I mean, just pull chairs up. And if you want to ask any questions too. I don't know whether you should, whatever.
Maybe you shouldn't.
And it's not gonna be, we're not gonna spend a lot of time, so. Okay, Mark. Good evening. We just have a few questions. And I guess the first question would be, and everybody can ask whatever, why did you apply for the Conservation Board?
I just
And
want
if you'll speak into the microphone if you would.
I would like to be a part of improving and maintaining the parks. I grew up in Newmarket and I camped at all these parks growing up with my aunts and uncles, my mom and dad. I've got 3 kids now and I'd like them to grow up camping and fishing at some of these parks, and I'd just like to be a part of keeping them nice and up to date.
Okay. And you live in Page County, right?
I live in Page County
Yeah.
now. Yeah, I live
Okay.
just south of Shenandoah.
Okay. I'm not gonna ask all the
Okay.
questions.
Have you been going to any board meetings?
I have been
Conservation board
going,
meetings?
I have been to the last 3 or 4, I believe.
Last 3 or 4? Okay.
Do you have any areas of conservation that interest you, certain areas of it?
What's that?
Do you have any certain areas of conservation that interest you, like hiking or fishing or anything like that?
I mean, camping and fishing. I did a lot of hiking and camping and fishing growing up, and it's just something that I've always loved to do. And if I can be a part of keeping that around in Page County, and I'd like to do that so my kids have somewhere to go to.
Do you see issues with our current parks?
I haven't been staying in the parks very much the last few years. So I don't know to what extent they would be good or bad currently. I just I started going to these meetings and I was interested in trying to be a part of keeping them held to a higher standard, if you will. And I'd just like to be a part of I'd like to be a part of working with these parks and not letting parks regress. And I've heard of in other counties, not I haven't heard of it in Page County, but I've heard in other states and counties where parks have usage has gone down and they end up not really being much of a park anymore because nobody uses it, and or it's not maintained very well, so people stop using it. And I would like to make sure that doesn't happen here.
But you haven't heard much about Page County parks?
I haven't heard that happening in Page County.
Okay.
I've seen news articles of parks that are no longer used very much in other states and counties, and that was some of the articles that I read, which I don't have any references to them. It's just over the last few years.
I don't want to see that happen here.
Okay.
My kids are getting to the age where I can start taking them to do more things, and I'd like to do that.
Have you talked to, Michelle, our director at all?
I've talked to her a little bit at a couple of the meetings.
Okay.
How do you feel about so there's been some turmoil, surrounding Pierce Creek.
Hmm.
And how do you feel about that situation? And do you have ideas of how to remedy that situation?
I think we need more level heads, more people that can listen and see all sides of an issue and not just the particular side that they like. I think too many feelings have been brought into the issue on all sides, and it could be handled a lot better if people would listen to each other and talk rather than getting upset at one another and things get drug out and made into something that they shouldn't be. I think we could all work together a lot better.
Anything else?
Good for me.
Okay. Todd?
Nope. Yep, I'm good.
Okay.
I just wanted to say I do think it's important to get people in my generation more interested in positions like this because eventually we're going to be the ones who have to do this. And I'll be 33 next week. If people my age don't start doing it now, when are we? And that was another big reason that my wife and I talked about this extensively, and I wanted to do it.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Marshall.
Yep.
In here now. I guess he can stay in here now.
Yeah, he could if he wants to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kristen, if they want to
If
stay
they
in
want to
there,
stay
unless
in there,
want
they can. Yeah, they can stay in here now. Yeah.
after.
Okay. You can sit down in the chair if you want to. If you speak in the microphone, Jeff.
We'll put a big spotlight on you.
Yeah.
Get you.
Yeah. Okay, Jeff, go ahead.
So,
My name's Jeff Brownfield.
Yes.
I'm current mayor of Blanchard. I sat on the landfill board with you. I sat on several different boards, EMA and all that. I serve my community, and I think I'd be a good fit for conservation board because I do a lot of construction. I build a lot of ponds. I know what it takes to maintain them. I know what it costs to do it. I install sewer systems in Page County, so I know the ins and outs. So, like, if you're around the lake, what it'd actually take for like a sewer system, you'd have to have special sewer systems around the lake, so you ain't contaminating the lake. I'd bring a lot of knowledge for the county to this board, and I feel I'd be a good fit for the county. And is there anything you'd like to know about?
Why did you apply for the conservation board? Why did you apply for it?
Well, I thought I could help the board a little bit. I know we've had some controversies on some of the parts and stuff, and I think I'd be pretty level-headed on how to deal with some of these issues.
have you been to any meetings? Conservation board
I
meetings?
haven't.
Have you talked to Michelle at all, our director?
Do you have specific interests besides? I mean, I know
Well, not necessarily a specific interest. You know, I would try to do what the majority of what Page County would like me to do for these parks and recreations. And, you know, I would vote for the people because my vote, if you take a position like that, it isn't your vote no more. It's the county's vote. The majority rules, the way I look at it. So if somebody's wanting this, the majority's wanting this, so basically you're gonna have to go with the majority because that's who you're representing. You ain't representing your own interests anymore if you take this position. And that's how I look at it. That's like when I sit on the landfill board, I ain't representing myself. I'm representing the community. So, so if you're sitting on the board, your personal interest should never come into play on any board, really. As far as I'm concerned, you should do the best thing for the Page County and for the area.
Yep. Do you, I guess, oh, sorry.
Oh, let's go ahead.
I was gonna ask you a question.
Go
that
ahead.
you asked last time. That was,
That's all right.
do you have any, things that you see in our parks today that you would like to see improved or things done that may be something that we should be focusing on?
Well, maintain, like, I know some of the parks, they need maintained, like, they bid a project that one of the dams, and they were gonna re-rock, put new riprap on the dam, and I ain't for sure whatever happened. They bid it, and then they said they wasn't gonna do it because they had something else conflict with it, and they never did do it, so.
Okay.
So it's never followed through, is what I'm saying. So that's another reason, you know, once they start a project and it gets approved, we need to follow through to make sure it's done properly.
Sure. That's all the questions I have.
Anything?
Good for me.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Jeff.
thanks, Jeff.
Thanks for considering.
You're welcome to stay in here
Okay.
if you want. Just no heckling.
Just jump right in there, Michelle. You want
Yeah.
If you guys have anything that we're
No?
not covering.
Okay. Have a seat right there, Rudy. Brothers and brothers, huh? Okay. Okay, why did you apply for the conservation board, Rudy?
What do you mean, why?
Why? Just why did you apply?
What reason did I have? I
Yeah.
guess?
Yeah.
I don't know. It seemed like an interesting opportunity for me to maybe help with conservation.
Okay. Do you have a special interest in conservation or?
Oh, no, not necessarily a special interest. I mean, I've always enjoyed it. I've always been curious about some of the aspects of it.
Okay. Have you been to any of the meetings?
No, I have not.
Okay. Have you just visited with Michelle at all?
I haven't.
Okay.
Do you have things that, well, I know like in your background that would help with conservation as far as things that you do, in your job or,
Well, I
Yeah.
mean,
I know you guys,
I'm part owner of a couple companies, so I understand budgeting,
Yeah.
understand staffing. I also have other obligations. I'm a Page County Reserve Deputy. I'm the president of that, so I understand how meetings should be ran and how respect should be given during those meetings.
Do you have anything that interests you as far as the parks that you would like to, or things that maybe you'd like to see changed, or things that we could work on better or do better?
Just the roads, just the roads going in and out of them, they're pretty rough shape. But I mean, I think people need to understand there's more than one park in the county. They all need equal attention. I'm sure she runs herself to death with all of them. You know,
How about the recent controversy as far as what's been going on? How do you feel about that?
I had mixed emotions on it, I guess. On one hand, I thought, it would be nice to have a public range. I mean, I'm an active shooter, I avid shooter, I guess. I like to participate. I go there every year for the sheriff's office to qualify.
Mhm.
I never knew it was a big issue, I guess, either whether the range was open or not. But I don't like the aspect of people trying to bully their way into it either. So, I mean, I could swing either way. I understand, horses get scared around firearms and stuff like that, but I have to assume there's some type of compromise we can make if we decided to go the direction to either leave it open or close it either way.
Do you feel like there's any danger to the public?
With a range?
Mhm.
No, ma'am, I do not. Not, I guess I say I don't, but I would believe it'd have to be policed properly to make it not dangerous.
Do you camp or ride horses or hike? Or
I
any of that?
camp on occasion, but not in the state of Iowa.
Okay.
And no horses. I'm not a horse rider.
No horses.
I'm good.
You're good?
Yep.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. That's it, Rudy.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Reed.
Okay. Kristen's getting her steps in.
Yeah.
Hi, Connie. We just have a few questions, I guess. We'll just start out with, why did you apply for the Conservation Board?
I am a former member now of Backcountry Horsemen of Iowa. It's a national group, but and I'm actually was vice president and liaison in the Southwest Iowa group. Because so many of our members are up in Harlan and Missouri Valley. Since I was down in the Corinth corner, I kind of took care of like Three Fires and then Page County. Attempted to build relationships, even with John, and had started to build relationship with Michelle when she first got here. I guess that's when I kind of started going to the meetings. I didn't go during the winter because as a group we weren't doing any work days or rides or whatever. But then I started coming back in the spring, and I mainly applied because of that interest, and because of what I felt was a good working relationship that I had started to build with Charlie for years, I've been very impressed with what Ms. Spinalgo has done. I want to continue to be supportive in some ways and basically offer better communication as a board member should I become one.
Okay. So you've gone to a lot of the board meetings and you've known Michelle then.
Since she's been here, like I
Yeah.
said, I didn't go this winter, so I probably missed half of them. I don't, it's not been quite a year yet, has it? You're probably coming up on a year. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have specific interests in the conservation, like specific things in the parks that you're interested in
Nothing
focusing
specific.
on? I think, okay.
I have owned a horse, but I don't classify, in fact, I do not own one any longer, just sold my trailer Sunday. But I've owned a gun probably as long as I've owned a horse. I was a former correctional officer.
Yeah.
And part-time jailer even for a while, so you can call me as much of a gun person as I am a horse person. Sure. I don't sit still long enough to enjoy fishing. But I grew up camping and boating and water skiing. In fact, I learned how to water ski on Shanks Lake 62 years ago.
When it was deep enough.
Yeah.
Wasn't any bigger around, but it was probably
Mhm.
deeper.
Yeah. Okay.
Gosh.
So I'm basically, if I'm anything, I'm an outdoors.
Okay.
And you'd like to see the parks.
Definitely. And they're so much better maintained now. I've been so impressed with the work that she's done. And what little I've gotten to know her just on the side through this liaison work. I guess we probably have a similar background as far as being a female in a male-dominated type of occupation. I've been through some of the experiences that she no doubt has had.
Have you sat on any other boards besides the
No,
horse thing? Okay.
I've really always been pretty good about minding my own business, but this one I felt strongly enough about, because I've told different friends that have made complaints. I was like, put your money where your mouth is. So felt like I had to do it myself.
Is there anything in the parks that you would like to see done or things that you would like to see more of a focus on?
Nothing I would have come up on my own. Having been to a few of the board meetings, I realized that there's been grants written for the restroom at Pioneer. I know there's been talk of different trails, and having been a horseback rider, I'm aware of some of those that I would have, even when I was riding them, and especially Nottoway, there's one out north along the fence line that scared me to ride. But I was a townie too. I didn't grow up on a farm with horses. I was a townie that I was 30 before I ever got around horses. So I enjoyed it as a hobby, but I don't consider myself a experienced horse person.
I don't think I have anything else.
That's all I got.
That's it? Okay.
Thank you.
Right,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Connie. Okay.
Sit chair if you want.
You can sit over here, please.
Recording is ordered.
Yep, we've got it all hot for you.
Testing 1, 2.
Anyway. You want to start?
All right, yep. So, wow, what made you want to apply for the conservation board?
When I attended the April meeting, the way one of the board members treated Michelle, I thought was outrageous. And that was the push I needed to get involved.
So what can you do different then? Or what are you gonna bring?
Well, I bring humanity. I'm a nurse. I deal with psych patients, so I'm a lot calmer, listening. Usually come up with decent ideas.
Was that your first meeting that you'd been to, that April meeting?
Yeah,
Have you been to others since? Or just you went to that one?
that was so far the only one. I think I worked in May.
Okay.
Was able to attend that.
Okay.
So what brought you to that meeting?
The discussion with the reopening of the shooting range.
Do you do camping and things of that nature?
Oh yeah, I'm a scout leader, so try and camp a lot. Good old fashioned up tent.
No TV.
I got myself a keep up on the weather.
Yeah.
Do you have well, besides camping, do you have other interests in conservation? I suppose since you're scout leader,
Yeah,
probably out there a lot. So
try and keep up with the outdoors.
yeah.
One of my favorite college classes was conservation.
So how do you feel about opening the range, or how do you feel about um the
Controversy.
the controversy? I guess I'd say. Yeah, I'm trying to
Well,
think of a nice word.
I think the park should be utilized to a full extent for everybody. There's no reason why two groups of adults can't get along.
Okay.
So you spoke with Michelle or talked to her about anything, or?
No, I kind of wanted to keep hands off as not to prejudice or influence one way or the other. But on sleepless nights, I do come up with some good ideas.
So do you have like you say you have ideas, do you have things that you think would benefit the parks, or things that we could
Oh yeah,
maybe should focus on more, or things that
I'd like to see like the local saddle clubs at Pierce Creek do trail rides for youth, the kids at National Productions, veterans at PTSD, riding a horse on a trail would be nice, relaxing. Grill some burgers. Shooting range could do the same thing. Just do an open shoot with veterans for the brotherhood. I think Michelle had an idea of doing a theme trail at Nottoway. Get kids out there geocaching. It's a big thing with scouting to help learn compass work.
Yeah.
Anything else you can think of?
But for ideas, do you have access to a drone?
To a what?
A drone.
A drone? Good.
My scoutmaster is the deputy sheriff for Bedford, and they just got a drum for their sheriff's department. And I was saying that'd be excellent for the parks. Tornado comes through, do damage assessment without having to get out and walk 25 miles. Search for lost hikers, just SS trail for safety, and probably the county sheriff would like to be able to use it too for searching for lost people.
Mhm.
Something the county can use.
Right.
And they're not, a good one is not cheap, but they
Yeah.
come in handy.
Montgomery County has a super guy that works with one.
Let's keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Nope.
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
But I do know first and foremost is be a good steward with the funds.
True.
Yeah.
That keeps
True.
keep the bugs back.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, William. Bill? Okay. Have a seat right there. Okay. Go ahead and somebody else start.
Yep. Why did you want to put in your application for the conservation board?
Well, I feel like I should give back what's been given to me all these years. I grew up across the game refuge in Riverton. My dad was a hunting guide. I had the opportunity to hunt, fish, camp, and all those things, and now I have the time to to get.
Have you been to any of the meetings? Have you been to any of the meetings and conservation meetings?
I've been to 3.
3. And what made you want to go to those? What got you interested in going to them?
I see an interest in the recreational activities that go on, camping activities, all those, and I use all those. And I would hope to be able to make a difference. I believe I can get along with pretty much everybody and be non-objective. I'd like to see the conservation in Page County. There's some improvements to be made. I like to fish. I like to hunt. Definitely like to tent camp. I like to do all those activities. I'd like to see the lake have less moss, so I didn't drink in 50 pounds every time I try to fish.
Have you visited with Michelle at all?
I'm sorry,
Have you visited with Michelle at all?
I have not.
Okay.
I've seen her around.
Do you have anything that you could see that you would want to you'd like to see improvement in as far as the parks, things that you would like to see changed, or ideas that you would have that would maybe that you would like to see the direction of the conservation board go as far as parks or things like that?
I look first at water quality. I mean, the water in the lakes is good, but there are a lot of things that could be cleared up. I listened to a proposal about clearing up the water qualities things, and just keep the park up in general. Actually, it looks pretty good as far as I'm concerned about it. I can't see a whole lot more than I would do. That it's well mowed, it's well taken care of. The trimming's done. I really can't. I don't have a lot of major complaints other than keep up what they're doing. And Some of the improvements could be like I said, on the waters. The rest of the parks, I haven't been on all the parks, but it's doing pretty well actually.
That it?
It says you have a construction company.
Pardon me?
It says you have a construction company. Am I in the wrong? Oh, that's what I thought. They were mixed up. Sorry, Al.
Okay.
It's messed up. What's wrong? Would you like to have a construction company? How would you? I guess there's so the controversy with Pierce Creek. I'm sure you're well aware. What's your thoughts on that? How would you handle some of these situations? That
Well, actually, I believe in the safety and utilization of all aspects of the parks, all the parks. As far as the controversies go, they don't really need to be an issue. I believe in being open-minded. I can listen to people's ideas and I can interject my own without prejudice. And I believe all aspects should be utilized. But the best and above all, be safe. Safety is the main thing.
that's everything. All I have.
Thanks.
Yep. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Oh, Adam is not here. Okay.
He's not here. Didn't realize that.
Just set a table.
Hi, Ricky.
Oh,
Good. So why did you want to apply for the conservation board?
why did I?
Yeah. Why? Yeah.
I think there's a lot of stuff that can be done with our parks to make them be used more. I don't have a job, so I have a little time. I like to work with youth. I think that's our future. And I think there's a lot of small things that can be done inexpensively to help improve the amount of usage at the parks.
Have you attended any of the meetings in the past?
Have I attended any meetings in the past? Yes, I have.
Several or?
Several.
And
Conservation board meetings?
Yes.
Or, yes, I have. Several.
And what piqued your interest in doing that, or
Excuse me?
what piqued your interest in doing that?
What piqued my interest in
Yeah.
doing that?
Going to more meetings?
Over the years, there have been several things that I've had been questioning. Once I came to find out about the fishing derby that the county puts on. Once I came because there was a conflict on the range. whether or not it was going to be open anymore. I have came and listened to some different stuff. I came to probably about everyone for a year and a half. So, but that's a while back. I think Rich Wallace was the officer at the time. So that's probably what, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, maybe more.
So you haven't attended recently?
I have attended 3 or 4.
Okay.
One point, I wanted to apply for the conservation board, and they suggested that we go and interview with the county, with the conservation board members, go and tell them about us so they could help you make a choice. I was there for that.
Okay.
I was not there at the following meeting. I was there at the next one.
Okay. Okay.
So I've attended a few.
Okay. Have you met Michelle? Have you met?
I have met Michelle. I've met Charlie.
Okay.
There you go.
What?
100.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how we met. I came to pick up supplies for everybody.
Gotcha. Okay.
Do you do any camping or anything?
I'm sorry.
Do you do any camping or fishing or?
I fish, I hunt. I'm a registered mentor with the state of Iowa for hunting and fishing with youth and handicaps. I'm a hunter ed instructor. I used to camp. I had an accident 15 years ago. My body doesn't like sleeping on the ground anymore. So camping, not really. I know a little bit about it. I was in Boy Scouts for several years.
Yeah.
But no, I don't do a lot of camping.
Do you have things that you would like to see done in the parks, or things that you have ideas about, things that would make the parks better?
I have
That you would-
several ideas that I think might help. Is there anything I'd like to not see? Maybe the quads and stuff screaming through, or speeders, but nothing that the park actually offers. I think they're pretty good. I think that at least I'm most familiar probably with Rat Park and Ross Park. Rat Park, I mean, right now the parks look pretty good to me, but in the past there have been some issues with vandalism in the form of kids screaming through the parks. It rained and they take off the road and tear stuff up, excuse me. Almost slipped that one by, didn't it? Anyway, in the past I've reported some of that. I question whether or not anything's ever happened about it. I do know in one case there was something, but whatever. I think that there are parks that ought to be our responsibility to take care of them.
Sure. Yep.
Anything else?
I don't have anything else. Anything else? No,
That's good.
Any other questions?
I don't think
Can I
so.
say one thing?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. I believe that the youth is our future, and our visions needs to be aimed more at youth. We have a really good area, a good asset in these parks, and there's a lot of things we could do for youth that just need to be orchestrated. They're not that expensive, and there are always people willing to volunteer or willing to donate to help put that stuff on. I'd like to see more youth myself. Not to cut out the old people, but I'm sorry, they're going to die, and the youth's our future, like it or not. So get them out of away from their computer, and we can stop hearing how rotten the new generation is, because I think most kids are pretty good. Some parents I have an issue with. So if you don't have any more questions, I don't have anything else to say.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hi, Larry.
So what made you decide you wanted to apply for the conservation board?
Oh, I want to get the range running. I want to see that happen. It's a public facility and seems like we're just being pushed.
Have you attended several meetings or just a few or conservation?
When it first opened to the public, I was a lot about everyone, but I cleaned myself off.
Is your sole interest in the gun range as far as conservation?
No.
Or do you have other interests besides the gun range? As far as conservation, things for the parks, things that are conservation in the parks.
Like Rat Park, I'd like to see a lot more campground. More trailers and stuff like that. Maybe possibly having it paved or asphalt.
Do you have any idea where the funding would come? Because it says a county thing,
I don't think one down south is utilized as well as it could be.
Ross Park. I think there's a lot of maybe fishing that goes down there. More fishing at Ross Park maybe, but nothing else. Yeah. But not utilized a lot, is it? Ross Park. Public hunting.
You're gonna see those activities between September and April or so. Yeah, we're gonna start fishing. There are people who get down there.
Yeah.
Go with no water with us.
Yeah, I haven't been down here for a long time.
So I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on down there now.
I don't get to many of the parks. So anything else that you think in the parks, Larry, that need to be done? Other than paving or asphalt? Anything else?
That's pretty expensive.
Pretty expensive.
Just make it more friendly, I guess.
Okay. Do you still do hunting with? Used to do volunteer hunter education?
Yes, I do.
You do that?
Done that for almost 10 years.
Okay.
I do the one in Florida with Charlie. I did one in occasionally.
Anything else?
Anybody else?
That's it. That's it. Okay. I guess that's it then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Lily.
you. Oh, one other thing,
Yes.
I'm only interested in the 2 year.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Did you hear anything from Adam Miller at all? He didn't. He didn't indicate anything. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. And Jim, what do we, as far as closed session, can we do anything?
I don't believe you can.
Okay.
Or I know it's somewhat counterintuitive to have a discussion like this in a public forum, but my understanding of the Iowa code is, it really has to be public. The only times that session can close and in a case involving hiring is if you're going to be discussing information that would harm the reputation of one of the candidates. So, for example, if somebody had had a criminal conviction or some kind of scandal that would be a part of your conversation, it could be closed for that part. But unless one of the board members knows something that wasn't brought out in tonight's interviews, I don't see a way that we can legally close this conversation for purposes of deliberations on the appointment. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So what is your?
I think we had really good applicants.
We do.
So I was very impressed with all of them.
Really hard to do.
Need to decide tonight, or can we think about it and do it on next meeting? Or do we want to get it over with? Generate your top three on a piece of paper and then see who wins, or what do you think? What can we do there, Jim? What do you think?
I think you want to do some form.
Just seeing how you want to.
I think if you want to do some form of ballot, that would be legit as long as the results of it are announced publicly. I mean, I don't know how you want to do this, but if you wanted to write your top three choices or five choices and then try to narrow the pool that way, as long as that's not a deliberation you're engaging in private, I think that would be a fine way to start to whittle this down.
Okay.
Yeah, some post-its. Oh, I got post-its. What's post-its? Just to write. Maybe just sheets of paper, I guess.
Sheets of
We can put
paper, I
the
guess.
top. How do you want to do it? Top three? The three?
Do the top five and then,
Top five?
and then
Okay.
top three with the most votes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The music. Yeah, Michelle. Him too.
Want them to-
Yeah, Michelle did it too.
Okay.
I'll carry that.
Just
Or just us.
have those minutes, or do you trust us? Okay.
Okay. Okay,
Then do you want to
you said 5.
give them to Kristen?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, you want to pick those up? Or look small. So I only use a quarter of the piece of paper. So see which ones we have. It's like school elections.
Five, right?
Mhm.
Are you waiting for me? I know.
She thought you were ready.
Sorry. Are you waiting for me? Are you waiting for me?
Those 5 on the
Take it down to 3.
3 that get 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like if there's 3 of them that get 3, then that would be your 3.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody.
Okay.
So,
Hmm.
check to make sure that it's
Okay, you do that.
So I have 2 that had 3 votes and 4 that had 2 votes. So when do you want me to?
Trash can. Take the one that has.
Get the 2 that have the 3, then and we still have one position out of the 4. So you can, I guess give us the 4 and then we can vote on that.
Yep.
Position for the 4, or out of those 4.
Okay,
The 2 that have 3, then we voted.
Can we
I
just
would
say
say
it out
that-
loud or print it?
You-
I'm to just say it.
The one that has the most, I guess.
Or do you want to do the, do you want her to read the 2 that have the 3? Because those would be 2 of the positions filled.
Or do you want me to just print this off for you guys?
You could print that off, I guess.
Just print it up.
Yeah,
You do it.
print your Excel sheet. We'll make this as
This is
complicated
so
as possible.
complicated.
Sure is.
Wow.
Well, and all good candidates, so it really stinks.
Yes, it's hard to decide.
It's
My printer's not responding.
Where's the IT guy?
You know, Charlie, how many years? Yeah, is there a, huh? Yeah, the big question is how many years are the 3?
a long a term,
How long a term?
5-year terms.
Are they all 3 the same? Huh? Okay. But are they all
The
for the
2 that
same
are,
year?
but the 2 that are serving now are they're 5-year terms too.
They're all 5-year? Okay. Just write them. It's working now.
Those are nice detailed maps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we just need one.
Yep. So you just pick one out of these, not the top, not the 3. Yeah,
Just
if
the
they have a
2.
3 by their
Okay.
name,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I guess you circle the one.
Oh, I just wrote it.
Now you gotta get up and pick them up again.
Oh.
See if we have consensus.
Probably won't.
Probably won't.
Did we?
No. Try again.
Okay.
Pick two, and if somebody has.
Pick two.
Yeah, one has pick two.
Yep. Yeah, pick two.
One, two.
Oh, you only circled one of them.
Well, that was the
Then you put a check mark next to
first
it.
ballot.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you or?
Tense.
You can.
Suspense.
You can. Yeah. You just want to write them down and give them to Judy, and she can announce it. Official, like in an envelope. Have a drum roll.
Connie, Bill, and Rudy. Is that right? Okay. Okay. Our winners are Connie Cade, Bill Greenleaf, and Rudy Brownfield.
Yep, the exception. And I hope all of you.
All of you are.
continue to be
All of you are
engaged in
good.
Conservation and
Yes.
Larry.
What's that? They're all 5
They're
years.
all 5-year terms.
They're all 5 years. Yes.
They're gonna have to,
Will they fill out the last? So okay, so yeah, so they'll continue the 3 that resigned. They'll finish out those terms. Okay. And do you know how much is left on those? Okay. You might have to get with Charlie and find out what's left on your term that you're filling out and see.
Just for propriety's sake, I think it's important I think the best practice would be to have a motion to approve the nomination, a second, and then a vote on each of the candidates that you selected.
I'll make a motion, we accept these 3 nominations.
That we take the 3 top vote getters of Connie Cade, Bill Greenleaf, and Rudy Brownfield.
Second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay. All right. Our last item is the adjournment.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
We adjourn at 5:45.
I second.